everybody. Welcome to the Pink and Purple Power Jam. We're on day 2. All right, well, welcome to day 2 of the Pink and Purple Power Jam. My name is Trisha Coleman, and I want to welcome you to joining me today. So yesterday we talked about deactivating triggers, and so today we're going to talk about de-stressing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I want to share some personal stories of mine. So we moved to Birmingham in 2005, and I'm not going to say what I weighed, but I was much, much smaller than I am now. And so over the course of a summer, I gained 80 pounds. Now, the irony of it is that we were exercising almost every day. We would go play tennis. We would go swimming. We had a gym membership. And so it made no sense why I was gaining weight. Well, I learned that stress was the culprit. And so I still have not lost those 80 pounds. And in fact, I've gained even more since then. But that was 15 years ago, or almost 15 years ago. If you know me, you know that I have a almost 16-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And so there's a huge age gap. And so the reason for that, I learned, was stress. I had infertility. I battled infertility because I was always super duper stressed, but I did not know that I was stressed. So and then I've known this for a while, but also that when I'm stressed out, I clean. So I'll share that over like the past month, my dad was having issues with his blood sugar because they had him on too many units of insulin. And so I was cleaning like a maniac. Like, I was cleaning rooms multiple times a day. I was a maniac with it. And so just knowing, again, going back to yesterday, your triggers. And so you learn your triggers. You learn what triggers you emotionally, but then also what triggers you, your stress triggers. And so I found this topic to be great confirmation because Jada Pinkett Smith has the Red Table Talks. And so her husband, Will Smith, called an emergency meeting for the whole family about their health. And so I saw that and I was like, hey, I already had that for day 2. Another confirmation. So I have posted that to this page for you to check out whenever you can. But the guest they brought on to gauge where they were health-wise, she asked a series of questions. And so I put an asterisk next to the ones that I was like, okay, that's me. Or I answered, and they were doing blood work, and they were also like taking stool samples. So I haven't gone that far. I mean, with my primary doctor I have, but as far as what they're doing, and there's going to be a partner, but I did put an asterisk. So the questions that she asked that I have an asterisk is like, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? And so mine, it depends. It depends on how, when I went to sleep, what's going on the next day. If I fall back asleep after I know I should stay up. So if I, like today, I had to wake up super early, and I felt great. Like when I woke up, I didn't go to bed till I want to say 1 or maybe 2 in the morning, and I woke up right before 6, and I felt amazing. Now I'm probably going to flag out early tonight because, like I said yesterday, I'll just be sitting. It's 9-10 p.m. and I fall asleep and don't even know that I fell asleep. The second question is, have you experienced physical and emotional trauma? Which I've experienced both recently. And like I said yesterday, my work is centered around trauma. And so, like, it's one of those things where you go through things so you can be better equipped. Let me take that back. I believe you go through certain things so you're better equipped to help people when they go through what you go through, or something similar, or even something you've never been through before. But it's the fact that the process that you go through to heal from your trauma, to reduce your trauma echoes, that you can help someone. You can help a lot of people heal from what they've gone through. It says you have nervousness, anxiety, worry. And I would have to say, like, again, because the situation with my dad, which he's perfectly fine now. I mean, he's old, and like I said, and he says to get old is for the birds. But other than, what comes with old age, he's doing great. But my anxiety was through the roof, and I did not feel like myself. I realized too, stress makes me sick, and I have symptoms that manifest, and they'll check me out, and it's been like this forever. They'll check me out, and they're like, we can't find what's going on with you. Like, case in point, I'll use this example. This is about, we were in 2019, so this was about 2007, so 12 years. Hope that's right. And I'm an accountant, and I'm great at math, but I had to think about that. My stomach would just get hard, like I was pregnant. And so I had Livy before then, so I knew that's the best way I could describe it. It's like when you get to, your third trimester, maybe even your second trimester, but your stomach gets hard because, you're cocooning your child. But it would just get hard like that, and then it would get regular, and then it would get hard again. And I wasn't in pain or anything. It just, and I felt sick, like nauseous. I didn't feel like myself, but I just had this hard stomach. And I went and got checked out, and the lady who checks me out was like, your stomach is so perfect. Like, you have a textbook stomach. And it's like made me uncomfortable, but it was, I will be transparent and say, like, it was flattering. Like, I didn't know what that looked like, but I was like, okay, but it was comfortable because she was just like, oh my gosh, this is like the best stomach I've ever seen. And I'm just like, okay. But lately, my nervousness, my anxiety, my worry does not happen as much and as often as it did when I was a teenager and early in my career. Is, a lot of stuff I'm just so unbothered about. And then a few things that I'm nervous about, once I start doing it or once it's over, I'm good. The next question that I have an asterisk beside is, what's your stress level from a scale of 1 to 10? And for me, I would say on a constant, everyday basis, I would give myself a 3. Like, I'm rarely not stressed, but of course I'm with my little ones. I know y'all heard them earlier. um, and I had to get up and tend to them because they were pulling stuff off the bed and about to make a mess. So I had to nip that in the bud. But the them being 2, and I'll just say she's 4 because she'll be 4 the end of this month. So with them being so close in age, different temperaments, uh, it can be stressful. Some days I'm like, I just quit being a mom. Like, like when I'll reference the courageous conversations, like I was not feeling well because my dad had passed out again and he was unconscious and he was like twitching. And so I was like super stressed out and um, I was worried and not knowing that, well, I do know when I'm stressed, I have physical ailments. I just didn't attach the two together because it had been going on for weeks. But my stomach was hurting, just like out the blue, my stomach just started hurting. So I was like, I'm not going to go because um, I'm not feeling well. But then earlier that day, and I won't share what they did, but I was like, I need a break. And that's one thing too. As a mother, it's okay to take a break, especially if you have a spouse that does not mind watching your kids, or you have family support or friends who you trust, or you can afford to get a sitter that you can trust. And I have to preface that you can trust because people are so crazy, and I don't even have the verbiage for all the stories that you read about people harming kids. So I preface who you trust, because some family members you can't trust. But when I get like that, I'm like, I just need a me time break. I just need to get out of Dodge. And that's part of tomorrow's discussion. So I won't keep on that topic because I might end up putting 2 days into one, so I don't want to do that. She asked, "Are you an emotional eater?" I don't feel I'm an emotional eater. I don't really eat a lot of food, and I think that's why I gain a lot of weight, and that's why I'm big, because I really don't eat food. Like, I try to do the breakfast, lunch, dinner. Some days it works out, some days it doesn't, and I know that's not healthy. But I am a serious junk food snack person. Like, I have a problem. And that's one of the things, the second to the last question I have an asterisk beside is like, do you like sugar? And I put, no, I love sugar. Like, I have to, like, especially when I'm stressed, I have to have something greasy and something sweet. Don't know what in my body is not correct. And if anybody's a health professional or anybody is a nutritionist, let me know. And what can I substitute for that? Like, I would just love to even start a show about that. Like, I'm not equipped. Like, I've worked on projects about nutrition and stuff, and had a job where they focused on child nutrition and healthy eating, but me myself, I'm not certified for anything. Like, I feel like that's where I need to go, but then you don't want to ever feel fraudulent. Like, if you saw somebody my size walk in and is like, hey, I want to help you get healthy, it's like, well, work on yourself first. So, and that's been my hold up. But do you sleep well? And again, that's prefaced by what's going on. Um, was I feeling bad the night before or the day before? But overall, I think I sleep well. And like, if you watch the video, Will Smith says like he has old man bladder, and like that's the same thing that I go through. Like, I wake up sometimes 4 or 5 times throughout the night to to use the restroom because I don't, something about when your body's at state. And I tried googling it, and I didn't really get much of an answer to help it make sense in my brain. And also I've been drinking a whole lot of water. Like that's all I've been drinking lately. And so I'm just like, for the past couple of months, it's like, I know I'll wake up, it's just 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up again, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Wake up again, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's seven something. I just stay up at that point. I'm like, well, you know, um, and there's other questions that she asked them, but I don't do like, are you tobacco or marijuana user? I am not. So I was like, do you snore? I've been told sometimes I do snore, but not all the time. Like my husband has a CPAP machine. He's like, you need a CPAP machine. I was like, I would not use it. So, and I don't see myself like being attached to all those cords and, what am I trying to say? Like they hook up so much to you to do the sleep study. I was like, I would not go to sleep. So I was like, it's not for me. But the one thing that she said and that's why I'm referencing it, because I'm like, wow, even though she said it she didn't say quickly, but it wasn't the main focus. But she was saying, genetics is not your destiny. So like on both sides of my parents, my mother's mother was diabetic and my father is diabetic. And so like, it's a double whammy for me. But then I remember years ago, my dad saying, because of my body type, my body shape, he was like, you might not have it. And he was like, if you have it, you won't find out till you're after 40, which it didn't make sense to me then. But he was like, because like I didn't have much of a stomach, but everything else was big. So he was like, you might not be diabetic. But you have to find out what's the source. Like, why did your relatives or your parents or grandparents, why do they have that disease? Like, what lifestyle were they living that was conducive for them to get that that disorder, that disease. So I have, and I'm referring to my notes because, again, y'all know I will go on a tangent if I don't have something to reference, and I will tell stories for days because I have a billion of them. But on your page, I do want you to put genetics is not your destiny, and then what's the source? Hashtag Pink or Purple Power Gym 2019. Also, I will identify my stress triggers. You don't have to hashtag that, but if on this page or on your page, I will identify my stress triggers. Genetics is not your destiny, and what's the source. So anytime now, or when you're watching the replay, type it on this page in the comment section or on your personal page. So I'm going to give some ways that you can de-stress, because stress will kill you. Like I was being a little like, oh yeah, it caused me to be infertile. Oh, it caused me to gain a lot of weight. But then the next steps is it will take you out of here, or it will make your body susceptible. That's the word. Instead of saying conducive, susceptible. That's the right word. Susceptible to diseases and disorders. Heart disease, have a stroke, you could get diabetes, and that leads to complications as well. There's a lot of different things that being stressed and being overweight, because it can go either way. Either you gain a lot of weight like I do, or you wither away, because a lot of people, they don't eat when they're stressed. And some people, they eat because they eat their emotions, but a lot of people just don't eat. And I will say too, when I'm stressed, I don't have an appetite. So, and that could just make your body confused. Like, I don't know whether to hold on to this fat. I don't know whether to, like, I have to protect myself, and I don't know what you're doing because you're all over the place. Like, that's your body talking, like saying, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna shut down on you because this is too much. Like, that's what your body, like, if you watch cartoons, sometimes they'll have people working in your body, different systems, is like, all right, let's shut it down because it's like you're doing things that we're not accustomed to, like that your body's not accustomed to, and you're wrecking it. So, and that's something that Will Smith shared. Like, he said, I have the ability to look like I am healthy, like to be in shape. I can get in shape real quick. I have that ability, but that doesn't mean that, that he's healthy. And that's what she was saying too, was, and I know they probably edited it out, but it seemed like she gave them some tips on how to not do the destructive habits that they were doing. So one thing that you can do to distress is to take a walk. Now, I transparency, my neighborhood, it has sidewalks, but not where I live. Like, where I am in the neighborhood, and like the streets immediately intersecting, there's no sidewalks. So, and then I live down a hill and up a hill. Or if you're coming to my house, down a hill and then you go up a hill. And so, like, it's just not, you have to drive to a park to walk, and that's crazy. But when I was younger, I walked everywhere. Like, especially when I was in college, walked everywhere. Had a car, but I just walked everywhere. Um, Laugh. Like, I love to laugh. I am I said a comedy snob, but I love to laugh. And the dumbest things make me laugh. Like, my husband always says, like, it's so stupid. I can hear it from outside the room. And I'm just like, why is she watching? Like, why do you watch that? It's entertaining and it's funny to me, and it makes me laugh, and I love to laugh. Um, Breathing, like I shared yesterday. When I'm stressed out, when I'm triggered, I stop breathing. And I didn't even know until he brought it up that I stopped breathing, or it's very shallow. I feel like I'm suffocating. But I have not learned to turn that off and be just like, okay, breathe. Like, I have to start doing it first, and then I tell myself, okay, Trish, breathe. But one thing I did see that I do, but not the way that they described. It's called heart shift. And so you breathe in for 4 seconds, and then you breathe out for 6 seconds. And the first 5 times you're breathing in, you think of the negative energies and emotions that you have. Like, whatever you're stressed about, you're thinking about that. And when you exhale, you're breathing it away. So the first 5 breaths, inhale, you're thinking about it. Exhale, you're pushing it out of your life. You're pushing it out of your body. And then the next 5 breaths, you clear your mind of all the thoughts, and you just focus on your breath. Like, breathing in, I'm breathing out, and you just focus on that alone. That clears your head. And then the next 5 breaths that you do, you want to think about positive, think about how grateful you are, gratitude, what's going right in your life, things that you want, that you're going to embrace, your strengths, what's great about you. And so another another way to de-stress is to get up early. You can, especially if you are a mom like me and you have busybodies around the house. Like my oldest daughter goes to school um, too early, if you ask me, but my husband drops her off because he lives really close. I mean, he works really close to where she goes to school, and so sometimes I get up before them, and read. I don't work out. I'm not going to even fret, but that's something you could do. But just completing something so you have a sense of accomplishment. The first day, like early in the morning, the crack of dawn, you have a sense of accomplishment. Typically, what I end up doing is like my little ones will have all their toys sprawled out in the living room, and then my husband puts TV tray, and he might have like a bowl of cereal or a snack or ice cream or something, and he leaves the bowl out. So I end up waking up before everybody, and I just straighten up, and that makes me feel good. So sometimes I'll go back to sleep, and then I end up feeling terrible because I know I should have stayed up. But when I do stay up after they leave, I just like tend the emails, start off whatever project I'm working on, check Facebook, or I watch something funny. Like one of the things that I've been watching is Get Ready News, and so it just like puts a smile on my face, and I'm like, okay, I feel good. And then when my daughter, the little ones, wake up, then I like feed them, make sure they brush their teeth, they wash their face, um, find them an activity, which we're gonna do during the after party. I'm gonna include them today. Um, and just anything that you need to do to start your day off right. Like I would say work out, but I don't want to be a hypocrite because I'm not working out first thing in the morning. But eat well. And I say like besides sweets and like so my dad gives me a bag for my oldest daughter. And so he was like, I'm gonna call her later on to make sure you didn't go through this bag. And I was like, call her. I'm letting you know I'm going through the bag. But there's no chocolate. There's no chocolate. There's no candy bars. There's nothing in there. It's just candy and gum. And I don't flow like that. Like so I was like, she can keep that because. But if there was a Kit Kat or a Snickers or something, I would have. I'd have been. It'd have been gone before I got back home. But other than that obsession with chocolate, I eat pretty well when I do eat. Visualizations, I thrive off of visualizations. Like I didn't know until I'll say a few years ago that what I was doing, like I thought I was just daydreaming or I was just like wishing that my life was different, but did not know that the word for it was visualization. So visualizing it, I want to have this type of business. I want to have these employees. I want to do this. I want this house, and I want the rooms to be like this and decorated like this, and you know, whatever you dream of, visualizing it as if it's real. Wherever your thoughts are, wherever you have your heart set on, it happens. Um, and then going to sleep. Just like, and I say this all the time. Like when the day is hard or I'm frustrated, I'm like, I'm going to sleep. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna try this again tomorrow. That's my phrase. I'm like, all right, love y'all, but I'm gonna try this again tomorrow because today wasn't it. So good night. It could be like 5 o'clock. I'm like, good night. I'll see y'all in the morning. Buying a plant. I love plants. Did not know that it is a de-stressor, but I do feel so much better when I have plants around. And like especially like lavender, even though I don't really like the smell, I like the feel of it. Jasmine, chamomile, that's why they're teas, because they de-stress you and they make you feel good. Counting, I never would have thought of that, but I do. I'll when I get stressed, I do start counting or singing. Hugging someone that can de-stress you. Just getting out of Dodge, get out of town, taking a getaway vacation, going to the beach or going hiking or going, just getting away from your everyday element, help you de-stress. Unplugging, like getting off of social media, not using your phone, turning it off can help you de-stress a whole lot. A whole lot. That's one of the events I wanted to do for 2020 is a digital detox. It makes you feel so much better to get unplugged, to just like nobody can get to you. It's you, your thoughts, peace, no outside interference. And like with the social media, we bring the outside to us. And so, yeah, you should definitely do a digital detox, even if it's just for a day, even if it's just for an hour. Because some of us, like, we got kids, and we have responsibilities, or we have demanding jobs, so you just can't unplug completely. But you can, go to a park on your lunch break, turn everything off, and just be one.